Well, Helen's dad was a bad man who always knew he was going to die. An underworld figure in the 70s, he had a reputation and was hated by cops and criminals alike. Killed in a hail of bullets, those responsible have never been found. But now a breakthrough.
Look, you know yourself, nobody will ever go to coppers, will they? I will.
A voice from beyond the grave.
I hope that after so many years of wondering what happened, that we, as a family, find peace.
We're talking 50 years or 5 decades of my family being haunted and traumatised what actually happened with my father.
Stuart John Regan was murdered in 1974 in an underworld hit.
Probably the most violent and dangerous gangster in Australian criminal history.
I only can tell you the first part of my life when I met John was good.
Margaret was his partner. Together they had 3 children.
I just think that he got himself involved with a lot of wrong people. And then it escalated from that.
What I do know is he was my dad at the end of the day, and there was another side to him that people don't know.
Helen was just 3 when her father was killed. She grew up in his shadow.
He was ruthless in his ways, and no saint by no means, but none of us are we?
Regan was known as the magician because many of his associates simply disappeared permanently. Journalist Matt Condon.
Ultimately, he may have killed up to 12 people, including a 3-year-old toddler.
He was also involved in prostitution rackets, illegal gambling and lucrative property scams.
He had his fingers in so many different pies. He was treading on a lot of toes.
My father knew he was always going to die young, but it was a web of lies and conspiracy, and the easy target was my father, because I don't know if you're aware, Simon, my father was, had a campaign about anti-corruption, corrupt police and politicians, and he was about to blow the whistle on them.
Look, you know yourself, nobody will ever go to coppers, will they? I will.
On Sunday, the 22nd of September 1974, gunmen opened fire here on Chapel Street at Marrickville. Regan didn't stand a chance. His bullet-ridden body left in a pool of blood for all to see.
He was struck with 8 bullets, several in the torso and a kill shot, point-blank range, in the head.
Margaret is convinced Regan knew his killers.
John must have felt very secure in wherever he was going or whoever he was going to meet.
It was rumoured very quickly that the police were involved, given the .38 calibre weapons that were used to kill Regan are police issue weapons.
Now his family has unearthed old tape recordings which could throw light on his murder. Using artificial intelligence, the audio recordings have been enhanced.
Have you heard the whispers from them and anything? Heard any whispers about the coppers, what they're doing and what they're trying to do?
It is so clear. It is literally like Regan has walked into this room, pulled up a chair and sat down for a chat. It's chilling, it's eerie, it is literally the voice of the gangster's ghost.
He would have a tape on himself as well as tape his telephone calls.
Regan's cousin, Kelly Slater, is a former New South Wales police officer.
You don't like to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but reading what I've read, it could be criminal elements, it could be policing elements, it could be businessmen. Like, there were a lot of people, I would imagine, that John upset.
A killer.
The Australian's Matt Condon has produced a podcast examining the case.
His voice is like a machine gun. You can hear the cogs of his brain turning over.
A police officer investigating Regan's murder suspected disgraced former detective Roger Rogerson could have been involved.
He always believed that Regan's murder may have been the first kill of the notorious police officer Roger Rogerson. I think it's very easy, and it's actually quite dangerous to grab, the most convenient monster at hand and blame him for everything. That happens in true crime and crime investigations. I think it's an easy way out.
In a bizarre twist of fate, Helen met Rogerson before he died.
He said, "I knew your father."
Condon hopes his podcast, The Gangster's Ghost, will uncover new evidence.
There are witnesses that were never interviewed or called to the coronial inquest 3 years later.
People might listen and go, hang on a minute, I know something about that and I do actually want to share it. So, I mean, it's worth hoping for.
For Regan's family, answers are all they want.
It'd be nice to actually close the book.